Have you ever imagined living on an island so small, you could walk across it in under a minute? Welcome to Santa Cruz del Islote, the most overpopulated island on Earth. It's so tiny, yet home to over 500 people, packed together on a piece of land smaller than 2 football fields. Let's dive into one of the most unbelievable places you've probably never heard of. Where is it? Santa Cruz del Islote lies off the coast of Colombia, in the Caribbean Sea, near the Gulf of Morrosquillo. It belongs to the archipelago of San Bernardo, a group of tropical islands surrounded by clear waters and coral reefs. But unlike the peaceful paradise we picture with islands, this one is buzzing with life. People, houses, even schools, all cramped into 0.01 square kilometers. How small is it really? To truly understand how tiny this island is, think about this. A standard football field is about 100 meters long. Santa Cruz is only about 200 meters long and 100 meters wide, barely enough space for a neighborhood block. Yet 500 residents live here. That's a population density of over 100,000 people per square kilometer, making it more densely packed than Tokyo or New York City. A look at life. Despite the overcrowding, life here is peaceful and organized. There are no cars, no roads, and no crime. People live in colorful concrete houses, stacked right next to each other. There's one school, a few shops, and a tiny community square. Fresh water comes from the mainland, and electricity is provided by solar panels and generators. Even though space is limited, the people of Santa Cruz have created a tight-knit and cooperative community. How did people end up here? You might wonder, why would anyone choose to live here? The story goes back over 150 years, when a group of fishermen from nearby islands came to this coral patch to rest and store their catch. They found it was mosquito-free, unlike the swamps on the mainland, a perfect spot to settle. Slowly, families began to move in. Generation after generation stayed. And now, the descendants of those first settlers from the island's entire population. Challenges of island life. Living on such a small, remote island comes with real challenges. There's no hospital or proper medical center. For serious health issues, people must travel by boat to the mainland. Drinking water. It's collected from rain or delivered by the Colombian Navy every few days. There's very little space for growing food, so most supplies come from outside. And when the tide rises or storms come, flooding becomes a real threat. Yet, despite all this, people have adapted and learned to make the most of every square meter. Community and culture. One of the most beautiful things about Santa Cruz is its sense of community. Neighbors live door to door, kids play in the narrow walkways, and families often gather on rooftops to relax and socialize. They celebrate holidays together, cook in shared spaces, and take care of each other like one big family. Even with the limited space, there's joy, laughter, and unity. Santa Cruz might be crowded, but it's also full of life, love, and resilience. Education on the island. Yes, there's even a school on Santa Cruz del Islote. It's small, with just a few rooms and only a handful of teachers, but it serves children from the island and nearby islets. Most students walk just a few steps from home to class. For high school or college, though, students must leave the island and move to the mainland, a tough but necessary step for a better future. Education here is not just a privilege, it's a symbol of hope. Tourism and attention. In recent years, this tiny island has started to attract global attention. Travel bloggers, journalists, and photographers from around the world visit to document this rare lifestyle. Some tourists arrive by boat, curious to see how so many people live on such a small piece of land. Visitors are often surprised to see how warm, welcoming, and vibrant the community is. Even though Santa Cruz doesn't have fancy hotels or beaches, it offers something much more valuable, a look into human resilience. Is the population still growing? With over 500 people already living here, many ask, is the population still growing? Yes, but very slowly. Because of limited space and tough living conditions, many young adults eventually leave the island for opportunities on the mainland. However, some stay, tied to family, culture, and tradition. The local leaders try to manage growth carefully, knowing that one more house means even less space for walking, playing, or gathering.
Infrastructure and resources. So how do 500 people manage daily life on such a small island? Electricity used to be limited, but now solar panels provide power during the day, while generators help at night. There are a few shops selling basic goods, but major items come from boats. Fresh water tanks are stored for cooking and drinking. For sewage, there's no advanced system. Waste is often taken away by boat or stored in sealed tanks. It's not ideal, but the community manages with cooperation and simplicity. Santa Cruz, despite all the limitations, no cars, no land for farming, no medical center, the people of Santa Cruz del Islote stay proud and positive. They've built more than just homes, they've built a lifestyle rooted in trust, family, and sharing. On this island, no one locks their doors. Everyone knows each other, and even with the smallest amount of space, they make room for love, music, and celebration. What can we learn? Santa Cruz del Islote might seem extreme, but it teaches us an important lesson. Happiness doesn't always need space. It needs community, support, and purpose. In a world chasing luxury and isolation, this tiny island shows us the beauty of togetherness. Yes, it's the most overpopulated island in the world, but it might also be one of the most connected. Santa Cruz is not just a place on the map, it's a story of how humanity survives and thrives, even in the smallest corners of Earth.